Hey guys, and welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. I am feeling so good. There's so much joy in my heart, so much excitement in the air. I'm super excited. I'm down here in this little Midwest region, honey. So we got these cicadas on the way, and I am devastated, truly. Let me tell you, I haven't seen these since I was in the second grade. I was terrified then, but I think I got over it, right? I was young. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to step on them on my way home. I'm going to just get home, right? And I think it's interesting because it's like when you're not as afraid, I feel like they don't stick to you. And for you guys who don't know what cicadas are, there's these really big beetles, right? They look like really big beetles, and there's a swarm of them. I mean, if you walk outside, you can see them all in the air. It's something that's like off of a horror film. It looks like some type of wildly deadly possession. There are these huge insects that are supposed to be nutritious for the earth and the birds and all these things, and they stick to you. They're blind, and they make this really annoying buzzing, hissing sound that is just ongoing, reoccurring every day, all day. And they're attracted to noise. And they don't bite, but they stick to you. And they're, just imagine like big beetles out swarming around sticking to you. So that's what we deal with over here in the Midwest. If you are considering moving out here, I highly don't recommend it. We are down in the valley, hanky panky, honey. So anyways, I'm just so excited to just be here, you guys. I hope you guys checked out the last episode, Opportunities. I told you guys I was going to post that after I got the confirmation back about the opportunity, and I totally got it. So I just wanted to get on here and share some light to anybody who may be waiting on that breakthrough moment. And if you guys know, man, my book Seasons was literally a manifestation of my current situation. So when you see me on the gram, you see me happy, you see me doing certain things, just know that it was a price I paid, honey. It was definitely grace, but a lot of it was definitely endurance and things that I had to go through in order to get to where I am today and to make this podcast, to share the light, the wisdom, and the lessons that I learned from those seasons. So if you haven't already, check out my book Seasons. It's at JalenLeslie.com. And so we're going to just get into this episode. And you guys, I want to talk to you guys about something that I noticed that it's very prevalent. It's something that we talk about oftentimes in the Black community. I'm sorry, I got to just go ahead and say it. You know, it's one of those things to where we see somebody who is in a position, we feel entitled, right? Oftentimes we feel really entitled to other people's success. And now this is a conversation that I personally I can't really say I was on an opposing side, but I wasn't really in a space of understanding, right? Because of course, if you haven't been through something, you can't speak to that, you know? So I was kind of in a space where it's like, yeah, you know, I do notice that sometimes certain situations pop off and people aren't as giving, right? And what I want to talk to you guys about is the work that it takes to get to where you are. Now, if you are somebody who, is on your way up, whatever season you may be in, I think that this will be very beneficial to you as well if you are working towards your goals and your dreams, because you may feel that way, right? Because when you're starting at the bottom, you're like, man, if I could just get some piece of information, right? Some validation, some confirmation from somebody who has already done this. I need a mentor, right? Somebody who can just guide me, tell me that I'm doing the right thing. That happens, but I think 8 times out of 10, that does not happen. And so typically it is just you totally having that faith walk in the dark. And so what I found with a lot of people is that a lot of people feel as though once you may, it may be your friends, it may be your families, it may be your Instagram followers, it may be people who, have liked your picture, shared your post, who really feel entitled to this newfound success that you may be developing or on the rise. And what I want to talk to you guys about is that right there. Let me tell you why people don't share things unless it's a course or unless it's some type of dollar amount or some type of, content that they create that you have to pay for to get this information. And first of all, like I said, you guys, it takes a lot of hard work to be successful. Like, I think for me, I tell you guys all the time, because I was doing what it is that I love and because I really just focused on that. Now, I'm not going to make it seem like it was something that was just super easy, right? Because I had a lot of highs and lows, and there were a lot of times I was doubting myself. There were a lot of times I wanted to give up as well. And it's continuous, right? But because I got a little bit of light, I just wanted to share that with you guys. But so it's so hard. And I think that's why many people don't do it. And so what you have to understand is that once you reach a certain place in your life where you done did the work, the hard stuff, the stuff that nobody really wants to do, right? Because let me tell y'all this. If you're listening to this, you may be this person. And this is just to keep it real with you. You know what I mean? So you can stop pointing the finger and reflect it back at yourself. Take a look in the mirror and get you some accountability and go ahead and move forward with your life and chart your path. Nobody owes you anything. Okay. And the reality is that people would much rather work harder on a job and take the money to spend it or save it and hoard it, right? But they won't invest in themselves. They won't read a book. They won't listen to certain podcasts. They won't go to certain events. They won't invest the money in themselves. You got to understand that personal development is it's not always free, right? Like, you're going to have to spend some money on yourself. And now this is something I struggle with as well, because, for so long, I really was like discrediting myself, like on the work that I put in on myself. Like, I discredit all the books I read, all the things I've listened to, the countless amount of interviews, like, you know what I mean? And if you are somebody who's in therapy, you got a life coach, like, we discredit these things because it's not something that's praised, right? Because it's not something that's out here on the front line. It's something that we're working on inwardly. It's something that, we're doing on the inside. And so because it's not, external success yet, it's not praised. And so what happens is we enter into these spaces and you have people who are like, oh man, how'd you do that? Man, I had to overcome all these demons, all these negative beliefs. I had to be accountable. I had to overcome stuff about my past. I had to face the trauma. I had to cry. Okay. I had to do those things. And it's like, most people are not willing to get there. And I tell you guys all the time, it's about a foundation. You need to set a foundation for your life and for your success. I can't tell you how many people I've met, and I was one of these people too, right? But we have this thing to where we don't think it's possible for us. We don't think it's possible for us to make $1 million. We don't think it's possible for us to be in the multi-six-figure, tax bracket. We don't think it's possible that our business can take off and do this in a month or a year or 3 years. We don't believe in ourselves. And what you got to understand is that to overcome that, to get to the bag, you got to do that self-work. You know what I mean? And so I say that to say, many people will sit and work hard on a job. Y'all will work so hard on that job. And let me tell you something, honey. I had to learn the hard way. Now, this is what I mean when I say what your journey and what you go through is completely different. You may not have to go and get 20 jobs like I had to go and get 20 jobs. You know what I mean? I was hustling. I was making it do what it do, but that was hard. You know what I mean? Because you get rejected and you lose jobs and, you down financially. And it's like, okay, everybody looking at you like, well, at the end of the day, you put yourself in that situation, which is true. But I knew what I was after and I believed in myself, right? So that was something I had to endure. There were times where I didn't have any money. There were times when I did have to reach out to government agencies to pay my rent. You know what I mean? And that stuff right there is humiliating. But at the end of the day, God always makes a way, honey. That's why you got to take that chance. So one thing about me, I ain't gonna stress about no job. And the reason why is because I'm doing what it is that I love. This is what you have to understand. I think that you should honor your employers, right? I learned that from Tyler Perry. He says, honor your employers, right? These are this company is paying your bills. But if you don't never take a chance on you, don't look at the person who took that chance and maybe had to go through certain things and then be looking with your hand out. Like, come on. You know what I mean? That's not fair. And I think that this is just the society that we live in. And so I say that to say, again, we will work hard on a job, but never on ourselves, never on our dreams, never on our goals, never on our subconscious minds and our beliefs that are telling us that we can't do certain things that we know we can do. God said you was abundant. Okay, we don't want to walk with God. After we listen to every successful person say, oh yeah, they talk about God. They talk about having that relationship with God. Y'all don't want to do that. You don't want to talk to God. You don't want to, you know what I mean? But you want to piggyback off of somebody's success. And then you want to get upset when people say, hey, I'm charging this for this course. I can't tell you how many times I've given away free information, which is even still continuously, right? We give away these free things. And the thing is, you guys, unfortunately, in today's society, this is going to be a tough truth, but we're going to go ahead and rip this Band-Aid right on off. If it doesn't have a dollar amount, it's not valuable, right? Culture does not view things that does not have a dollar amount attached as valuable. That's just what it is, okay? And so when you've been working hard on yourself and you've been putting in that work, like you've been paying for therapy, like I said, you've been buying the books. Man, I cash out on books. Like I always cash out on books. Like, but because, you know what I mean? Like, no, nobody's going to say, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, let me listen to what you have to say. Like, no, it's until you get this, until you get that. And then people say, oh, let me hear what you have to say. But it's like, man, that even still, me getting into that position took some more endurance and some more sacrifice. So, yes, I'm going to charge this for whatever service that I have. And so that's just what I want people to understand in today's society. And like I said, this new upcoming generation and even, my generation, we just don't value hard work. It's just one of those things that we just don't value. We much rather piggyback off of the next person, and you guys, what you have to understand is that, okay, I think when you're in the dark, when you're going through certain things, it's so nice to have people who support you and have people who are there for you. But what y'all got to understand is that a lot of this stuff you're going to be doing alone, and you need to do it alone because you need to really give your credit to God. Because I think when you give your credit to other people, people just then feel entitled. They feel like they can control you in the sense of, you owe me. You know what I mean? And I think it's important to kind of avoid that, because at the end of the day, it is a fake faith walk. And it's nothing more than the grace of God that has put you in that position. And so, always keep that in mind. But, I just think overall, man, it's just like you got to do some things alone. You don't ever want to be handicapped or codependent because you think it was this person who made you successful when it was nothing but the grace of God on your life and you following your purpose or you following your dreams. You know what I mean? And so I think that aspect alone is very important. And overall, man, it's just like you can totally do it. I'm not really one to kind of buy into potential. I think maybe in my past, like when I was younger, it was something I was like, okay, yeah. I've learned that every single person has potential. Like everybody that you see today has potential, but everybody's not going to live up to that potential. And so, one of the things that I think about very often, and it's something I've been thinking about more frequently, is time. It's the one thing that is interchangeable. Like you're never getting it back. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that is just like the time is going to pass anyway. And so if you are somebody who may be struggling with time management or you haven't started whatever it is that you want to do, man, you got to get on the road. You know what I mean? And you don't want to look up and be like, oh, man, I am in this space and I didn't do that. Right. Because the time is going to pass anyway. You know what I mean? I think about how many years it's been since I've been out of high school. And I'm like, man, just think if I would have graduated from college, what difference would it have made? You know what I mean? And so for me, it's just one of those things where I say, if you're with people and, it's not serving you to your best ability. And when I say serving you, what you have to understand is what you need, right? And I think, being in our early 20s, if you are in your early 20s or in your 20s, just period, you learn that with experience and you learn that through relationships and you learn that through communication and just getting to know yourself, right? Just having that self-actualization. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's important to know what you need. And if it's not fitting your needs, then that may not be the space for you, especially if you're just holding out for potential, right? Because like I said, time is just the one thing that you'll never get back. And yes, we can learn a lot from people and, lessons and people who come into our lives. But at the end of the day, you got to make things happen. You know what I mean? Because like I said, life is going to go on regardless. And so that's just for anybody who may be, in a situation or in a space where they feel like, hey, I'm, potential, I'm, the possibility. No. For me, I'm going to say no, right? Because I think that we all have that. And like I said, I'm never going to step into that space to be like, relationally, giving tips out there. No, but that's just something to consider. And so in summary, you guys, do the work, definitely do the work. And like I said, that work I think you can make it easier by doing what it is that you love. Like I said, for me, every trial, every hardship that I've ever faced has been done with grace, but I've done it willingly and I've endured it because I'm doing what it is that I love. And so it's made the path a lot easier for me to navigate those hardships and bounce back from those things. And so I think that's why it's really important to definitely do what it is that you love so you can kind of get on the road and continue on, you know what I mean? And go in there with a good attitude and a positive attitude and outlook just because you are doing what it is that you love versus, being on a job and you hate it, right? So if you're not willing to make those changes in your life, that's fine. I think it's different for everybody. But what you have to understand is that every successful person pays a price, right? And that depends on what you may consider successful. And it also depends on the other person. Yes, we have people who are scamming, you know what I mean? And yes, you have people who have these get rich quick schemes or whatever you want to call it. But I think at the end of the day, it really takes endurance. And I think it really takes personal development, to really be able to enjoy those outcomes, right? And get those favorable outcomes. And so, yeah, if you're not willing to put in the work, that's fine as well. Like I said, we all on different journeys, but just be mindful of how you feel when other people reach those places that you want to reach, but you just haven't got on the road and you don't want to get on the road, right? Because at the end of the day, it's you who's charting this, right? And I ain't talking about seasons. I'm talking about you and your actions, because I think regardless of what it is that you're after, regardless of what season you're in, time management is everything. And you can always be doing what it is that you love, even if it's at the smallest level. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks it always has to be this huge thing, like personal development, those things, that's the smallest level, but it's just getting on the road, And so, that would be my thing. And so I think I'm going to title this Hardworking. And I hope everybody has a great day. It's April. I hope you guys are setting some new goals and some new habits. I got some new things that I'm implementing in my life right now. So far, so good. You know, one of them I had to start over like twice, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm still going to go the whole 30. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts.